Hi, thank you for joining me today for my presentation. Today, let me first pull up my presentation. Sorry. Okay. Okay, perfect. So today I will be talking about Ireland and music styles that go along with that country. So just to start with some of like the general information, Ireland is located in the Atlantic Ocean in the northwestern part of Europe. As you can see here, here's like the United Kingdom and all that. So it's just west of that. And then Ireland has both plains and mountains on the coast. So like as you can see in this photo here, or this picture, I guess, we have plains in the center and then kind of those mountains more on the coastal areas, as well as you have the beaches surrounding the whole country there, which is kind of cool. With the Irish flag, we have those three colors there. It's just the green, white, and the orange. Um, so basically, the orange of this flag is thought to represent the like Northern Irish Protestants and also William of Orange, who defeated King James II. And so it kind of represents that freedom there. And then the green on the flag has two main ideas that it represents. I know at least when I first think of that, I think of like the shamrocks and the greenery that you see in Ireland. And that is one of the things it represents, as well as it represents this kind of idea of revolution and again, that kind of freedom. Just some historical background on Ireland. So we believe that people first came to Ireland about 10,000 years ago, and these people were the Celts. Um, they kind of settled a couple of countries like Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Um, and they spoke in like Irish or Gael or Gaelic, which is still kind of what you're going to hear in Ireland today. And again, that's from that Celtic people. There were a bunch of like wars and conquering, but kind of the most recent one was when Ireland was getting permanent independence from Great Britain, which was just about 100 years ago in 1922. They have had a couple civil wars since then, but not in a while. So that independence from Great Britain is kind of the most recent war or anything that's been happening there. All right, the people of Ireland. So traditionally, you're just gonna hear most Irish people talking in again that Gaelic or Irish accent. Um, Most of that is just a dialect or like a lilt in their voice, not necessarily a different language, and most of it is still English. You will hear different words here and there with that. With religion, Ireland is mostly Roman Catholic. They do let anyone worship however they'd like, with whoever they'd like, but the majority there you do see Roman Catholic. And then in 2019, we saw about 5 million people total in Ireland. So whether those are Catholics or not, but total we have about 5 million people. Um, and then obviously we have a lot of Irish people. We also have a lot of African and Asian and then other European folk there as well. Um, that's just kind of about some of the people there. Now on to some of just like the cultural information, I guess. I'm starting off with some of the food. When I was kind of like looking up and researching Ireland, I saw a lot about soda bread. As you can see in these photos, like they look generally like the same type of loaf or whatever, but you have different ingredients kind of that are in those. So basically, what I was reading is that's kind of like a recipe that'll be passed down through families and things like that of their own soda bread recipe. We also find a lot of potatoes in Ireland. I'm sure you've heard about like the potato famine and everything like that. Um, so you'll eat a lot of potatoes if you're ever in Ireland there. Their social customs aren't super different from what we have here in America. Kind of the main difference is just like the different traditions and celebrations that they have. Kind of a major part of that culture is like the pub culture, right? It's not super common to see a lot of pubs here, especially in Utah. But if you're in Ireland, it wouldn't be like uncommon to see like pub crawls being taking place, I guess, or even just to see a lot of pubs on each corner of the street that you're on. Dancing is also a major part of their culture, as we'll kind of look at later with the different music, and that's going to be known as river dance. And then obviously one major day of celebration is going to be March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day. So this originally started as like a day to celebrate Christianity coming to Ireland, but now it's kind of more of just a celebration of all things Irish, right? You'll see a lot of that river dancing taking place. You'll hear the music. You'll see parades, participate in pub crawls. Still celebrating that Christianity, but also just Ireland and everything that comes along with that. Now on to some of the music styles that we are going to look at today. I'm going to focus on the Celtic music and the Irish trad style. So Celtic music is basically, like I mentioned before, from the Celts who settled Ireland, Scotland, or Wales. So it's basically just the folk music with these distinct instruments and kind of that lyric style in those countries. And then Irish trad, that's just the traditional music of Ireland. It's just basically like another type of Irish folk music in addition to Celtic music. Some of the instruments that you'll be hearing in the examples I'll be playing are the fiddle, the tin whistle, the flute, and the uilleann pipes. Those are kind of how Celtic music started out, and then we've had additional instruments come in, like the accordion or the harp or the mandolin or other things like that as well. So you'll be hearing that in all the examples I'll be playing today. As well as the instruments that you'll be hearing, you'll also be hearing these different characteristics of this musical style. This Celtic music is very lively and has kind of a quick rhythm going on, which makes for a really fun and like interactive performance with the audience. You see like the audience clapping along, or like I mentioned before, you'll have the dancing going on. Some of this is even written specifically for that kind of river dancing or just like jigs as they call it. Um, yeah, so it's kind of fun and really lively like that. Celtic music also does follow like a pentatonic scale in the melody a lot of the time. With the melody, you also have a lot of repetition, and then you'll see variations on that repetition with like the call and response. You'll also hear a couple rounds. In addition, we also have like this sort of list that comes to each chorus where they kind of add on a different part of the song to each chorus to make the chorus longer with each time around, which is kind of fun and something you don't hear in a lot of other cultures there. This isn't like a specific type of style that you're going to hear only in specific places. Like I've mentioned, it is just kind of the folk music in Ireland. So you will just kind of hear it anywhere. It has kind of turned into like this folk rock or Celtic rock from the 70s and 80s. So you'll kind of hear a little more of that as well. If you want to hear some specifically, you might just want to go to one of these pub sessions where the bands will play. Again, there's a lot of that pub culture going on. You also might hear it at like weddings or parties, especially where that dancing is especially taking place and you're having this specific river dancing going on. So to go right into that, here's an example of some of that river dancing. You can hear the fiddles going on in the back as well as see like the fun moves there. So let's play that for you. All right, I'll stop that one there. Again, you can kind of just see how fun that is and how that all is kind of working for you. And then here's another example. This one's not dancing. It's just, again, to hear kind of the different fiddles and like the flute playing and all of that and all those different instruments and then the repeating patterns that we were talking about before. Alright, I'll just stop down there. What I liked, you can hear kind of how it just repeats even just those big major phrases. Sorry. How it just repeats like the phrase. It goes back to that first kind of idea, changes to a different kind of theme there, and then goes back to that first idea. And then just kind of one more example for you. So we looked at the river dancing as well as those kind of repeating phrases and patterns. This one now, this is a song called I'll Tell Me Ma by the Dubliners. And this one's kind of fun to hear and see that audience interaction as well as the different kind of lyrics and that kind of take place with these Irish folk songs.
Tell me now when I go home, I don't need the girls alone. But my hair is going home, that's how lies about the home. She's handsome, she's pretty, she's a very, very fussy. She's putting on to cheek, these women sadly do shit. Now the lily said enough, so all the vines are fighting for her. Knock on the door and they're ringing the bell, till my joy of party well. And she comes as wide as snow, things on her fingers, hands on her toes. Elton knows she's sitting tight, pretty little mother in the moment night. Let me now when I call, I don't leave the girls alone. My hair is golden cold, that's all right, it's not the home. She's handsome, she's pretty, she's a very, very fussy. She's putting on to cheek, little taffy,
Alright, I'll go ahead and pause that one there. It was kind of fun. Like I said, you can see those different instruments like the tin flute and the fiddles and the banjos, and you can see that audience interaction. It's kind of fun there. Oh, okay, sorry. Alright, and then for our little interactive activity here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play just one more example for you. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes we have songs where it kind of adds to the chorus each time. So in the song, I'll kind of show you at the first. I'll kind of show you just a little bit at the beginning, and so you can kind of hear what's going to happen. But basically, just each verse is a different pub, and then with each chorus, they add that pub to the list of the pubs. So I'll play like the first verse or so for you. This is the Dublin pub crawl. Okay, so I'm gonna pause it. I'm just gonna skip ahead to when they have a couple more pubs listed. Let's get to like here. Should be good. So if you can keep yourself muted, but if you want to just try kind of following along with the lyrics and see if you can stay with them and see if you can list all those pubs, and it's kind of fun to see if you can keep that pace up with them. So let's do like a couple of verses here. Okay, so I don't know how you did there. Hope you did well. We'll try one more down at the end. Let's go out here. Let's see how you do here. I'll go back just a little bit.
Skelligans, Gilligans, Rafferties, Rafferties, Dillers, McQuillans, McClearys, O'Learys, O'Haggertys, Kitty McGee's, and double and the pound that roll.
Anyways, that's just kind of fun there. And that's just a little bit about Ireland and the Celtic music going on in their cultures. And just some of my works cited there. Thank you so much. Okay. Stop recording.